Hi, you guys. So I'm 4 days into Omicron and I'm starting to feel a little better. I had my first night's sleep last night and I was like, oh, sleep is so good. I love sleep so much. Anyway, I'm in a better mood. I'm in my warm, comfy jacket. No matter how warm it is in the house, like I need to be warmer for some reason. Anyway, if you like my channel, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, and let's get into it. I wanted to let you guys know that David Yonta from Behind the Velvet Rope is my friend, and he reached out to me and said, Dana, you have to listen to the Joe Francis interview I just did and what he says about Paris Hilton. So I was like, okay. And he was like, you should really cover it. You know what I mean? He goes, it's just too crazy. Like, so I was like, all right, let me go listen to it. And he was right. Like, yeah. So now I love to listen to Joe Francis interviews because they're always outrageous. But you have to take what he says with a grain of salt. So I do want to preface what I'm about to play and comment on with the fact that Joe Francis is not like his word is, ironclad and truth. And, he kind of is a little out there. So sometimes I agree with him and I'm like, okay, he's totally being so honest. And sometimes I'm like, okay, he's doing this for his own, to bash this person or, for his own self-interest purposes, especially with his, the mother of his children, Abby. Like, I never totally trust what he says about her. So anyway, but listen to what he says about Paris. Okay, so here's David starting the interview with Joe.
Out there, you dated Tara Reid.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
You dated
we can
Paris.
do Q&A.
You dated Paris Hilton.
Of course. Yes, did that.
Well, Miss Hilton just got married. Did you know this? Paris just got married.
Oh, did she actually get? I thought she was engaged.
She was, but as of now, she's married. It just
when
happened.
did that happen?
I believe it happened today or yesterday. Honestly,
it's so funny, and I know the guy Carter.
You do?
Yeah. No, I've known him for a long time.
They used to party together. Like, they used to be in the same social circles. Joe Francis, Paris, and Carter. Just a little sidebar.
And do you put your stamp of approval on this?
I mean, okay. So, when you have a baby, she wanted to have a baby.
Now, this part I didn't get, David didn't get, nobody seems to have gotten what the hell he was talking about, but I'm going to play it for you, and I really want you guys to comment, obviously G-rated because it's YouTube, but, what the hell does he mean by this, okay? Listen.
And the baby floats in what's called amniotic fluid, right? Right? So, in Paris's case, will it just float in semen in the womb? I don't understand.
What do you mean? Now you've lost me.
So there's amniotic fluid that supports the fetus, right? And will Paris just have semen, in there? I don't know. I'm just making fun of her.
Does that mean that you
promiscuity? I'm making a joke towards promiscuity.
Does that mean that you do not support this marriage?
Hey, will it work? No way in hell.
So I think he was trying to imply that Paris is not loyal to any man and screws around a lot. But to be fair, Joe Francis hasn't dated Paris in 20 years. She's a lot different than when she was in her early 20s. But God, if I was Paris, I'd be puking in my mouth a little bit every time, the fact that I dated Joe Francis. Crazy. She was on The Simple Life, to give you an idea of when she dated Joe, a long ass time ago. Okay, hold on.
Really?
There's no way. Yes. She's out of her mind. 100%.
How so?
She's out of her mind. When I broke up with Paris Hilton, she told me that I couldn't break up with her because she was Paris Hilton. I swear to God, I had to call the security and then she started beating me. And then, because she was drunk, and then I had Nikki Nicole Richie staying in my room, and I'm like, look, Nikki, I'm going to kick your sister out of the room right now. And if she hits me again, I'm calling the security. And I'm going to have my security take her out. And so ended up, she hit me again, Paris. And then I had to have my security take her out in the hallway. And then somehow she got back in the part where all the private suites were. And she starts beating down the door all night. You can't break up with me. All right, Paris Hilton, you can't break up with me. Like, she's crazy. She's just nuts.
But Joe is so sane.
Arrested in the Bahamas because she went crazy and started hitting me there. I mean, I look, I don't see anything working out with her ever. Wow. But I wish them the best. I wish them the best of luck. But come on, it's Paris Hilton. There's no way. There's no way. Like, people don't change. You know. I mean, I dated her for years. I know her very well. You know, and would I want her to? Would I want it to work out? Yeah, but no guy's going to put up with that. No person will put up with that. No way.
Carter's going to put up with it.
Is a nightmare. She is crazy.
What else did she do with you when you dated her that was so crazy?
What? Better question, what didn't she do that wasn't crazy? I mean, she's out of her mind. I mean, she's really out of her mind. But it's constant. Like, she constantly lives in this world. Like, it's. I mean, she's just a piece of work. But yeah, I mean, like, I know the guy. Like, the guy's dream is to date a celebrity, right? He's a normal, like, guy. You know, a nice enough guy. I don't have any. You know, I don't know what he does, but there's no way he can't handle her. There's no way. You know, there's no way so. And I think it's just for her show anyways. I don't even know if it's real or whatever. You know, she does a baby thing and a whole thing. It's all, with Paris anyways and Kathy, that's all fake. Whatever comes out of their mouth or their whatever life is just fake. So, I mean, it's contrived. Every single thing she does is contrived between Kathy and her. And Kathy saying, oh, let's do this and let's do that. I mean, I've known Paris since she was 17. So, you know, didn't date her till she was probably 19 or 20. Till she was about 22. That. So, I mean, what is she, 40 now? How old is she? I don't even know.
I think probably around there. Maybe it's possible she mellowed out. I mean, don't people change? Isn't that possible?
I mean, I saw her like a year ago at a nightclub. Things, or 2 years ago, something like that.
The reason I got so excited about that one section is I've been speculating that this marriage, like, there's not a lot of real feelings in this marriage that Paris has with Carter. And that, you know, a lot of the family is using this for different agendas. That's not to say that, you know, they won't stay together and they won't have a baby, but I've been questioning, you know, the agenda behind this marriage for a while, and I thought that was really interesting that Joe said that.
The whole pandemic. I would love to think that people change, David. I really would. And I would really wish them the best because, like, I would. But that's going to be an interesting one to watch. We'll have to have me back on the show when that goes down. it'll be crazier.
Anyway, Joe Francis actually went so far as to say to David that it'll be crazier than his divorce if they break up. And there is no crazier divorce than Joe Francis and Abby's. So I'd say if it's what he thinks, wow. I don't know. Pretty nuts. But again, I remind everyone, Carter Reum is a VC guy, like a venture capitalist for tech companies. I don't know how this is going to fare for him. You know, that's a kind of conservative world. I don't know how all this like cute little, you know, pink bubbly crap is going to resonate with serious business people, you know. You know, all the little like doggies in the pink and the blah, blah. Okay, so let's see if there was anything else good. Okay, so the next part of this interview is Joe Francis and how he can't stand Kathy Hilton, by the way, you guys. I don't know if you know that, but Joe and Kathy had a lot of fights when he was with Paris, and he used to say that Kathy Hilton was crazy, and Paris used to play messages that Kathy Hilton would leave her to Joe and make fun of her mom to Joe. That's what Joe alleges. So anyway, I'll play you this part.
No, I was up at night thinking, when I was dating Paris Hilton, oh my God, Kathy Hilton could be my mother-in-law. I was going to fucking thinking about how to get the fuck out of this. How do I get, because Kathy Hilton is psychotic. Like, she would leave endless messages for Paris.
See?
Craziness. Like, you know why Paris is crazy if you listen to her mom. And Paris is like 20. I remember we were in Sardinia one time. Mom leaves these messages. And you know, the cell phone company cuts you off after like 4 minutes or whatever. People leave those long messages. You're like, fuck, how do you have this much time to talk this much?
I haven't
now,
had one
thank
of
God
those.
you can.
4-minute voice.
Well, yeah, this is 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But then Kathy would call and then would end. And then it would start another one, and it would just be like,
that's something I would
Paris, you need to date a really rich guy from a name family. I mean, look,
That's
Kathy
pretty
Hilton
telling.
is a gold digger from the valley. Honestly, like, that's who she is, and that's who she raised her daughters to be. Like, you know, like to marry a Hilton, a name. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was her goal in life. And that's what she made Paris and Nikki's goal in life.
Wow.
She raised 2 daughters in her image. That was, and unfortunately.
Well, sure enough, Kathy did marry a Hilton, and Nikki did marry a Rothschild, and now Paris is marrying Carter, whose father was kind of loaded. And, obviously, if you know the story of Kathy, Kyle, and Kim Richards' mom, you know that was, the allegedly Big Kathy's mom, had the same belief system that you marry someone with power and money and wealth and a name. And she had hoped that Kathy, Kyle, and Kim would do that and tried to arrange, that kind of outcome for them. Kathy managed to do it, which I think made her mom really proud by marrying Rick Hilton, right? So it's obviously some sort of family like legacy, this kind of belief system to marry these powerful guys.
Rick didn't really get any money, but he had a name, the Hilton name, and she's leveraging that name in order to do what she's doing. I think, the real stars of that family, I think like Kyle Richards is an incredible woman. She was always the hot aunt when I was dating Paris too, because she was she's still gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman, and she's still gorgeous today.
He's friends with Kyle,
Kyle's
by the way.
A friend of mine. And her husband,
I told you,
Mauricio, who has the successful real estate company.
He's partial to
me,
Kyle.
They're the real deal, right? And I've known them for forever. But they're
Kyle
the real
was going to his house and all that.
He's a really sharp guy. And he's a killer, killer in the sense of
I wonder
business.
how Kyle feels about him.
I want to be really careful.
Dragging Paris.
No, that's what
And she's a real actress, right? She's been acting since she was like 3 or 5, 2, I don't know, like something like that.
Okay, and Joe Francis on purpose is saying things that I know that he's hoping Kathy Hilton hears that will piss Kathy off. And I have that insight I can share with you. Yeah, Kyle has gone to his, I don't know what the hell that was, his island, and she's gone to his house. I wouldn't be bragging about that. But anyway, hold on one second.
The prettier younger sister thing is what I look at that relationship as.
Kyle's prettier than Kathy.
But Kyle is sweet and normal and real, and Kathy's I don't know. To me, she's always been evil, so I can say that. She was just evil. The words she said about me to Paris without even meeting me, and we had been dating, and then it was all over the press because nobody had heard of Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton wasn't a celebrity, so I was the famous person, obviously. So, and then she would just leave these long-winded messages about what a bad person I was without even knowing me, and Paris would play them over and over for me. And I was like, wow, this woman is just so evil and stupid. She's just so dumb. And that was my impression of Kathy Hilton, just from listening to her messages and the way she treated me. And And then she marries this dumb guy, Rick Hilton, who's just not smart and has a name and not rich. And you know what I'm saying?
And she would just call all day and leave these messages
like,
over and over and over. Like, get away from him.
Yeah. And, no, but they're long-winded in detail. But they're really... I hadn't had any lawsuits at that point, so there was nothing really to say. Other than she would just instruct her, you need to find a guy from a family name where you can get lots of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't, and she's like, I don't believe, even though I have my own plane, she's like, I don't believe he really has his own plane, even though we're flying on it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? All these crazy things. Just a psycho, you know, just trying to train a gold digger. It's like you're breeding a gold digger, you know, just like hyper-focusing her at 19 years old. Psychotic. 20, this is 20 years ago.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah. And it's like, Kyle's always been the normal one of that family. And I don't know them well. Well, I guess I do know Paris's grandma.
Anyway, Joe Francis goes on to say, he's got a lot of respect for Kourtney Kardashian, who he went out with, and Kris Jenner, and, she's extraordinary. And he seems to imply that he probably would have liked to have ended up in the Kardashian clan had Kourtney and him met at a different time in his life when he was more ready to settle down. So, that's anyway, very insightful. Again, you have to take what Joe Francis says with a grain of salt. He does have agendas for sure. I wonder how Kyle feels about him going so hard, dragging Paris Hilton and Kathy Hilton, and then praising her in the same conversation. By the way, this is the second time he's given this type of interview. The first was with Heather McDonald. Yeah, that interview went missing oddly. I don't know if she deleted it or she moved it to Stitcher. So it was behind her Patreon wall, because I guess in that interview, which I did hear, he dragged Abby, the mother of his children, really hard and made some serious allegations against her. And I think Ronald Richards, who was working with Abby, helping Abby, reached out to Heather. This is just speculation on my part, but I think he reached out to her and said, like, please, what he said in that interview was slanderous. It was libel, actually slander because it was spoken. So, take it down or move it somewhere else or something. But it was there 1 minute and then it was gone the next. But he duplicated a lot of what he's saying in the Behind the Velvet Rope interview with David, minus the stuff about Abby, which is good because now, that way David Yontif can keep it public. Okay, so there we have it. Now, I, of course, always support David Yontif at Behind the Velvet Rope, my sweet friend. And I know he would appreciate that I am commenting on this interview here, because I'll put the link to his podcast, too, if you want to hear the whole thing below in the description. But I know he likes when I do my commentary on his stuff. So I appreciate you, David, for sending me your juicier interviews. He knows I have a high threshold. I don't generally just like interviews. I like to hear like ones that have stuff that like I care about or is really shocking, So he's good about sending me those ones. All right, you guys, if you like my channel, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And if you want to give me your opinion about Joe Francis and Paris Hilton and Kathy Hilton, let me know. I guess my opinion about the whole thing is, I'd say I believe him about Kathy Hilton, unfortunately, quite a bit of what he said about her. I'm not sure I think Paris Hilton has changed in the last 20 years. I do think that this marriage is questionable in its authenticity. I don't know how long it's going to last. I guess that will have a lot to do with Carter and his patience. And, of course, what Paris Hilton's mom and dad want her to do also. So if there's rough times and Kathy and Rick want Paris to go and will help her go, then she'll go. But if they say stick it out, I think she probably will. So we'll see. I'd say she better stay in this one for at least 5 years, or no one's going to take her seriously if she gets married again. You know what I mean? just from a branding standpoint, it's so gross to say that, but I think she has to stay married to Carter for a while.